The purpose of this video is to talk a little bit more about Cyclone. There was a PowerPoint that was done that leads up to this point here where we actually have a database that's put together, and if you hit the plus sign here, we've created a project, and inside the project we did a registration, and inside that registration then we created a model space, and this is where we left off right here. So from here you have other model spaces. So that's what I want to talk about at this point, is how to create those model spaces, how to work in that model space or those model spaces, and get ourselves ready so that we can move into CloudWorks, which is a product Leica has produced that works in conjunction with AutoCAD or other software. In our case, we're going to use AutoCAD to actually do drawing work from the point cloud data. So at this point, let's just jump in here and do the first thing to do is click on this, and I want to create a model space view. So there's the view there. I'm just going to call this Unify because I want to show you how that works. So I'll just call it Unify here. And then to do a unification, I'm going to hit the right button and here go to Unify Model Space and click Fast Unify. And there's other places you can do this, but this is the one that I think works for what I want to do here. So I'm going to go click Unify. What this is doing while it's processing here, I can tell you that the idea is that especially if you have multiple scan worlds and you're trying to bring those scan worlds together, register them, if you have one or two, it's not as big a deal. We've only got two in this case here, but if you have several of them, multiple views and millions and millions of points, this unification really works well. Because when you go to view the model space, not only can you see all of them together like you can with this registered model space that we're doing, but it works a lot faster. It just really starts struggling when you don't unify the model spaces and bring them all together, and so it acts like it's one space. So now that I've done that, we probably won't see much difference in speed relative to this because there's only two scan worlds in here. So I'm going to double click here and get into this point cloud. So the first thing to kind of just do a little bit of just manipulation here, navigation, those kind of things to show you here how to work with this data. The first thing, this is actually again looking at what the scanner looked like in position 1. I do that because it's the home world. When we did the registration, it was the one that was set up as the home scan world. So this is why it's showing here, which is just fine. Now to do a couple other things here, if you want to see how to change this, we're over here on the left hand side. Now these are different toolbars, and you can load them, move them around however you want to here by looking at these double bars here. There's a couple of them here, some ellipsis kind of looking bars. You can click on those and move them around however you want to. In fact, you can hit the right button here, and there's the ones that I typically use. You don't have to do all those. Cut plane I want to use a little bit later, so I have that one check marked, and we'll get to it in just a few minutes. But over here, you've got this view. This one right here says use the color form from the scanner. So this actually changes. This is what it looks like from the scanner with the color in it, with the video pictures that we took before when we were first shooting the data, and this is what this looks like. So then this is the reflectance, which is the one that comes up by default, and then this is a grayscale one here. For what we're doing, the one that I think is most useful is the reflectance one. It works better in CloudWorks as well, so I'm gonna stick with that one there. The other thing you could do is look at this data from these different views. I'm just going to click on top view to show you what it looks like from the top view. So there's the top view, and then a side view here. You can look at the data real quickly to see what way you want to look at it. Right now, I just want to look at the top view. It works best for what we're doing. The other thing is you'll see up here there's a little icon that shows this perspective view, which is what it's in now, and ortho. So if you look at what happens there, it changes it there so we're looking straight down on it, which is typically how we're going to do stuff. When we do a floor plan, we want to see this in ortho view, not in perspective view, because it causes the edges to basically it has a vanishing point, which is what perspective does. So you have that. Now you have these other ones here. These are different selection or pick modes here, and then this is the other one. This is seek mode. There's some hotkeys on the keyboard that work better than trying to go up here and work with this. So I'm just going to show you how this works here. As far as we navigate, goes, you have the two buttons on your mouse, your left and right button. You can click on both those at the same time and draw yourself in and out, or zoom in and out, essentially. The wheel doesn't work in this program. So that's how you do that. And then if you just use the left button, you can pick and hold it, and you can move it around left or right, and it's fairly intuitive that way. And then you can do both at the same time, in and out. And then if you want to kind of look into this data a little bit more, you get in here and you can start to see that it's difficult to tell whether you're looking at the ceiling, because we were inside of a room, so you're dealing with the ceiling or the floor. So just to kind of show you, here's a place where the floor is open. I'm going to use this S key, which is the same as the Seek button right here. So we'll go S and click right there. And when I do that, now that's going to let me zoom into that point and use that as the rotation. So that actually works pretty well. So you can kind of get your way around a little bit and see there, put S over here, and then I can move in a little bit more, and you start to see how you can work with the data a little bit better. You can see what's going on with it a little more. I want to do another one over here so you can see what's happening. So, and then sometimes you just get lost in the data. There's too many things, especially when you're dealing with the room, because you've got the top and bottom floors. It's not just like on a landscape, or excuse me, on a site plan or something like that. You don't have a ceiling there, but you do in these kind of rooms. So you have to really kind of parse this out a little bit differently. So I'll teach you how to do some of that kind of stuff. Another couple things here to show you in terms of manipulating the data. This is stuff that went out through the door, and we don't need this stuff. So I'm just going to actually do a little window here. I can take this little fence, a window, and go from here, from here to there, and it's going to work good enough for what I'm doing. Just to kind of illustrate what's happening. As soon as you do that fence, you can hit the right button and go fence, and then delete inside or outside. Obviously, I want to delete the outside because I want to keep most of the stuff there. So I'm going to delete outside. Now, what this is doing is it doesn't actually get rid of the data. Just it has a copy of it in the background here, so you don't actually have to worry about losing any kind of data here. You can also do a polygon one, if you wanted to as well, and it does just different polygon. Same kind of idea. Fence, and then you delete inside or outside, and I'll just delete inside to show you how it works again. So that's how you kind of work around a little bit. You pick data with this pick button right here. You can pick it, and we can, oops, I need to actually do it. There you go, pick this, and then it selects all of the, in this case, the whole point cloud. The other thing you can do here is you start getting into reference views. And so one of the things on the keyboard is that the tilde button right below the escape key on your keyboard will let you switch back and forth between the pick mode and the pan, or I guess it's called the view mode. So this is the view mode with the little hand, and this is the pick mode. So I'm just hitting the tilde key and switching back and forth between those two. So for right now, I think we're just going to go with this. To show you a little bit more items on how to navigate and work with the data here in this model space. One of the things I want to show you is this limit box. So you click on limit, and you can see here oops, I've got that mode down. I got my tilde key. There you go. And then you can see this limit box will lets us kind of work with the data. This is now what I can do is then change to the pick button, select a box, and then you can see there's a gray one an orange button right there, and I can actually lower this like so. And then I can see right into the data, which is really nice to get rid of that roof, that ceiling up there. If I wanted to do a little bit more, you can still see that. It's kind of hard to see the data exactly, or see which one it is. I'm seeing it right there. This is the button right there, and you can lower it just a little bit more, or lower or raise it. You can take the sides and go in a little bit if you want to. We need everything in this case, so we're not going to do that, but that's how you would work with a limit box. So I'll show you that. Okay, now unclick that, and you go back to the regular view here that we had before. It shows all the data all together. So the next thing I want to show you is how to work with the reference plane. So I'm going to go over here in Tools, and the reference plane allows us to start working with the data in a little bit better way. So I'm going to use the reference plane. I'm going to go Show Active Plane, So click on that, and you see it here, but you don't really know where it's at. Well, it looks like it's kind of right in the middle of everything here. So that's a little bit painful. It is kind of, it's picked the floor plan, but I want to put that plane right on the bottom right there. So I want to put it right on the bottom of my data. So to do that, I've got the ceiling to work with. So I think I'm going to go back to this box view and put the limit box on again. And then, because I've got it lowered so I can see now the floor. And so one of the things you can do here is you go to Tools, Reference Plane, and then I'm going to, oops, sorry, I need to pick this first. So then I'm going to switch with my tilde, switch the tilde pick button, and I'm just going to pick on the floor. I know that's the floor. You can see it pretty easily. That's the floor. So I'm just going to pick one spot on the floor, which is fine. Then go to Tools, Reference Plane, and then Set Plane Origin at the pick point. So it's going to do that. So it's going to lower it. Now you can see what I've done there. Hit the tilde back with the plane, and you can see now it's sitting on the bottom, which is what I want it to do. Okay, so now I'll go ahead and turn the limit box off now. I don't need that again. And also I can turn off the reference plane because now I know it's sitting at the bottom of the floor, which is great. Now I want to show you a few other things. Based on that reference plane, I want to do cut plane. So I can go Tools, Cut Plane, Set from Active Reference Plane, which is what I just did, is set the active reference plane, so I can do that. So it's all in the background right now. So I've set the cut plane so that it's using the active reference plane, which is what I just set. Now I can also go over here and view this in a half space. There you go. And okay, so that's not gonna help us a whole lot there. That just shows the floor itself. So up here and hit this, cut plane, and then uncheck that. Let's go ahead and go to cut plane. And actually, going back through all these menus, that's kind of slow. So what I want to show you to do is you click over here and click on the cut plane and move that toolbar so that, and I have it over on the right side. You can put it wherever you want to. I don't know why I have it on the right side necessarily. It could be anywhere. So this is, I'm going to start at the bottom here in this case. So it's going to set slice thickness. So I can actually put a slice through this whole set of data. So, and it shows up as meters. And it's like, well, you can work with meters, but a lot of us aren't used to that. So I'm going to cancel out of here. And I'm going to go over here and go to Edit, and then Selection, or excuse me, Edit, then Preferences. And this dialog box pops up under Units. And I can change the units. In this case, I'm dealing with floor plans, so I want to go with inches. So I'll click OK there. And now, if I go over and set this thickness, it shows up by default as inches. So I'm going to say, I'm going to make the slice thickness 2 inches. And the one right above it here, View Slice, not yet. View Half Space, I'm not going to do that yet. I'm going to click on Cut Plane Offset. That's the amount of offset between planes. As I switch between one slice to the next, it's going to offset a certain amount. So I'm going to go ahead and go with 2 inches on that one as well. And then let's go ahead and look at the view slice. So there's the slice, and I'm going to go ahead and turn this to the top view here so I can see more what's happening from the top view. Make sure it's got the top view. Yep. Okay. Now, right over here, there's a couple of buttons that say raise and lower. So you can raise this or lower it. We just came right up off the floor, just 2 inches. And so you can see now how a couple of inches here, like right this one here, that showed probably some of the concrete pads there. Picked up some of the edges of some of those pads. You can raise it a little bit more. Now we're getting into some of these pumps and so on. You still see the walls. So this is just another way of looking at the data. This may not work that great for this. I think CloudWorks will work better for what we're doing without doing this, but I'm just trying to show you how some of this can work. So I'm going to turn that off. So that's not on at all. I'm going to go here to go View Half Space here and raise this up a little bit or lower a little bit. We can do this however we want to. So I'm going to go down here and see what this looks like. And it's like, I think I want to come up a little bit more here. Raise this up a little bit. And come up to about, that's probably good enough actually. I'm going to do a seek right to here so I can kind of look at my data a little more. I want to make sure that these concrete pads are going to show up in my data. And I want to put these little instrument panels or whatever they are there. And over on this side, do my seek over here, hit the S key and seek over here. And you can see the pads there as well. And Looking at this data here, I can see the pads going here and here. So that's kind of what I want to do. So I want to show the pads. I'd like to show these barrels here, whatever these containers are here. We'll show those on our floor plan. I also want to show, and this may have to, we just have to raise a little bit here. Whoops. I lost where I was at. All right, here. So I'm going to go ahead and click on this for a second here so I can see this. I don't have my landing up here, so I'm going to raise this a little bit more, go up here a little bit, and add that till I get just to see the bottom of that landing area, which should show up here just shortly. Yep, it starts to show up a little bit, looks like. A bit more. There's the landing right there. So I think I'm going to stick with that. And this allows me to draw the landing in. It's not showing up that great. Maybe I should go up just a little bit more. There's the little more handrail. A little more yet. Let's try it. I'm not sure how much is going to show up anyway. Yeah, it's just picking up handrail at this point. So I don't need to go that clear up there. It shows up part of the handrail. I just need to see the landing area there. And also up here, as I look around at the other data, I want to be able to see the edge of the walls. There's where that door is right there. You can see the door right here. And barrels were all good there. Let's go back over here a second with my seek button and go over here and look at that. Okay, I can still see these instrument panels. I got a little bit of stuff up here I might have to work with, but I think I can deal with that. So I think that's kind of how we want it to look. So I'm going to click on the top view again and zoom out here a little bit and set this up. So the next thing I want to do is, now this is really all we need to do there. So you can use the slicing, you can use the cut plane. Over here you can do a half space, and then it just kind of, you can move it up as you saw me doing that with this button over here with this raise and lower. So that's a very useful tool in dissecting the data. One of the biggest problems, again, in working with this data is being able to get it to see what you want it to see. Now, sometimes it's also annoying to look at this T5 and stuff, these different targets, this annotation and the target itself. So this target right here, this is where the home scan world is. I can actually go up here and turn that off if I don't want to see that. And also under view, I can go down to view object or set object visibility here, and it shows all these different kinds of elements. Now everything's on. We don't have that many though, but these little guys here with the T5, T6, and so on, those targets with the vertex on them, those are actually vertices. So we're going to turn off the vertexes and not show those there. So now it makes it a little cleaner. We don't have to worry about all the annotation on there. We've already got it registered anyway. We don't need that stuff. So I'm good with this. I think I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. And now it saves it in the place I left it. So if I double clicked on this again, it's there. So we can leave this up. It's totally fine to do. And now I want to go over here to AutoCAD.